plants. And so we haven't had any of that this year because of the straw. So a lot of benefits. There's some there. And I'm letting this dry up. But anyway, so happy. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Shh, we'll talk about that in a minute. Well, it's been a little bit. We haven't had a chance to get in touch with the garden. And the garden has gone great. So we're going to go down and take a look at it. I mean, it's nuts. What it is that we're going to be looking at, because earlier in the year when we started out, we were going to test out a couple of things to see if it would make a difference. Hopefully a big difference. Turned out to be a big difference. First thing I did is for the cucumbers and the tomato plants. Every one of those received a 1 gallon jug buried in the ground right next to it that had just a few holes in that jug towards the bottom, pointed at the plant. So I discovered through some of the research that a lot of times during the summertime, you might think the top looks wet and stuff, but about 3-4 inches down, it's like dry. And mine has, I've seen that in the past. So anyway, we did that for each of the plants. That was also then the delivery vehicle for the fertilizer that I've been using. Now I also started out with a granular fertilizer. I happen to have that right here. And that's a 10-10-10. So I put that down twice, about 2 weeks apart on that, maybe 3. So that's a dry granular stuff. It takes water to activate it, so a good rain really kicks her in, you know. So, but that's a 10-10-10. It's pretty evenly divided amongst the 3. And then, because they've really grown, I also use some Miracle-Gro. So Miracle-Gro's got a fair amount of nitrogen in it. And I'll tell you, those plants, you'll see when we get down there, boy, have they grown. That's crazy nuts. So at a point then you want to cut that off. And I've done that now, and now I'm using, this is a 245-28. A 245-28. So barely anything in nitrogen. And phosphates, phosphorus, I can't remember which is which, but those are much higher. And those are the ones that are about flowering and fruit. So now I've noticed that since I've been doing this now for, I might have filled those jugs up, I guess just the second time today with this. But after that first time, which was just maybe a couple of weeks ago, I really did notice the difference in the cucumbers. And they've been crazy. I mean, just nuts. We're going to see. I was really hesitant early on that I'd planted the wrong kind. But, well, you'll see when we get down there. Been kind of good that I took a little time here. You really see a difference between what I had last time we all looked. So anyway, but getting back to the things that we changed. So the jug was one thing. The other thing that I used to have an issue with back where this garden is anyway is that it would dry out quite readily down there, and you just really could hardly stay on top of watering, it seemed. So some way to keep and hold that moisture in there, and that, well, straw. You got to put a mulch around it. So I did that around all of the cucumber plants and the tomato plants. Put a good stack of it in there. And every time now through the summer that I've been watering pretty routinely anyway, but when I put my hand down in there, if I haven't watered for a day or so, it's just really moist down there. And the trail that I walk into the garden, that might be dried out, but not underneath that straw. That really does a good job of holding the moisture in there. The other thing that it does a really good job for, too, is there's no weeds under there. So that's really been a plus. And the other thing is that I can tell you for sure that the blight has been nearly non-existent. I've cut some very lowest leaves that have turned a little bit, you know, but you're going to see some of that. But when we get down there, I'll probably show you, I saved one leaf where you can see where they're you know, it's later in the season anyway, it's going to start to happen a bit more, but I noticed in the past where I would get that right away. And a lot of the times I would look and it would be after a rain when the mud would splash up on the plants. And so we haven't had any of that this year because of the straw. So a lot of benefit to having a mulch down. In my case, I've been using straw. Remember, straw is a bedding that animals and gardens sleep on, and hay is what animals eat. I don't think you'd use hay in the garden. I think there's too much protein and organic material in hay. It's more like food. Whereas straw is much less of that and more like a bedding. That's my take on that. I could be, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty close on that. But anyway, So those are the two big takeaways then. Well, really, so we did watering much better this year and kept everything very moist. Pickles are really, really sensitive to that, by the way. You like a straight pickle, but they will curve like that if they get too dry. And mine have been pretty good. The tomatoes too, they're looking really good. The bottoms, there's no rot on the bottom or anything. We cut one open here recently. It was a big one, and it was just solid red all the way through. I've never grown a tomato like that. It was just beautiful. So anyway, the garden has been going nuts and bonkers. We're going to go down and take a look. That's what this one's about. This box, though, that's going to be on the next video. I'll probably maybe start that up today. I'm not sure because I got to use what's in there. We're going to have to say sayonara to the Echo Weed Whip that I got. I did put a new carburetor on that. And after having done so, we got her back up and running and everything, and she seemed to be working pretty good. But you know, she had quite a bit of vibration in the down the rod. So I'm not real sure if where that rod is connected to up in the motor. I got a hunch something gave there, maybe some rings gave out, but she started losing power, and then no start. She's done. You can always tell. And she was hot, and yeah. She's 21 years old. So I got her out here hoping somebody would pick it up and drive away with it, but they haven't yet. I don't know if that happened, but I'm just teasing. I got to deal with it, though. You got to get rid of them. So anyway, but that's a new one in here. And this one's a battery-operated one. And it's all the rage. It's got huge, nice reviews online, and it's normally a couple $100. It's half off because it's end of season, so we got it for 99 bucks. And well, we'll see. It's supposed to be an extra battery in there too. Sure looks like something that was all put together without an extra battery, but we'll see. Anyway, so that'll be a discovery thing. Next video, we're going to put together this, and it's made by Wood Ranger. It's supposed to be pretty good. I don't know. My wife hooked this up. She does all that kind of research, looks at the reviews, where the sales are. I just turn her loose on something and done. She'll find what I need, best price, best product. I give it the old nod, and we're on it, and that's what we got here. Just got it. Well, yesterday. So anyway, we're gonna head down garden. This will be the next thing on the next video. Creatine, everybody taking your creatine? Creatine, I guess I heard the guy say. Started doing that here a while back. That's, a couple of days. That's hasn't been that long. But this is supposed to be pretty good for you. Like, there's not too much. I can't drink a whole lot, Gotta stay with the recommended stuff and all that. You might get a little gut ache. I don't want that. A guy just holds his mouth, stirring his nose, and he's just splashed up on me. Gonna rinse her down with a little Gatorade. She's got just a little thing, but it's not bad. And believe me, I'd be the first to complain if it was bad. And it ain't that bad. So it's supposed to be really, really beneficial. Creatine, creatine. Check it out. Barbie and I we're in it. So anyway, let's get down there, and we'll take a look at the garden. And out we go. Pretty lush out here. It's August 20th. It's a Thursday. And barrel's empty. Haven't had a good rain here lately, not to save anything. Let's see what the birds are up to. Anybody on there? They'll show up. The little woodpeckers come in there all the time. Even if I'm hanging around, they will. I had to isolate the corn down here because it was getting a little out of hand. I put it into a container. So here you are. Potato plants are really knocking down for the fall now. We could pull those out of there. And you would get some potatoes, they'd be ready, but they wouldn't have the skin and stuff on them as what you like them to be. So we won't want to quite there yet, but they're in there and they're ready. And then check out these tomato plants. I have to back up. They're taller than me. These guys are about 7 feet tall, and there's 4 of them. And they have tomatoes. Well, we've been harvesting some, but they just have tomatoes in there everywhere. It's absolutely loaded. These are celebrities, that's what they're called, and they're just doing great. I had one bladed leaf I was trying to, you can kind of see it down there, but it's just really hard to find much in there that's bladed. They look very nice and clean underneath. You see my jugs in there that I put the water in for. Am I in the right one here? Yeah. That's where I put in for the fertilizer and stuff and keep them wet down there. And look at these cucumbers. Oh my gosh. So let's see, August 20th, and at this point in time I've to date canned 28 quarts out of here. 28 quarts. Far surpasses anything I ever did by a long shot. I had 8 of those in July, of those quarts. They're on the ground, they're taking over. They're just everywhere in here. So it's pretty wild. It's the best one I've ever had. Arkansas Little Leaf. That's what these things are called. And they are just nuts. It takes me about a half an hour to go through here to find all of the cucumbers. And I pick a quart, at least what would fit in a quart once a day. So there's a lot of them in there. It's probably like 30, 40 pickles a day I'm picking out of here, at least. You can see all of the different critters in here. We have a bunch of different buzz pollinators, bumblebees, a lot of bumblebees, and then a bunch of other bees too. Minnesota has a whole bunch of bees, you know, and they show up around here. This is a corn plant here. We talked about this earlier in the season, and I built a cage here for this plant, and boy did that ever do the job. Who knew? I just threw that together in the old garage one day with a bunch of boards that I had around, these cheap old boards. And then there you are. Worked out perfect for holding up that corn plant better. Now the cucumbers have invaded in there. I pick cucumbers out of there all the time. I got strands growing in there. Of course, I don't want to cut them off. So I don't. I just have to look in there for cucumbers too. But the bees are really all over this. Here's the bumblebee down here now. I wonder if we can get in there to get a look at him here. Where'd he go? They're just everywhere on here. I can isolate him. See what we can do. Oh, here he is here on the big flower. I think I can maybe track him. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just too close. Back it up a little bit. Well, there's bumblebees all over in here. If we can just get one to sit still for a minute. Wait, show him. Get butterflies on here too. There's a bumblebee right there. He's sitting in there somewhere. Where'd you go, buddy? He's probably working in there. I don't want to be bothered. Oh, there he is here. Oh, I don't even know if I got him. Hoping I did. That's kind of cool. There's another little type of bee there. I don't know if you caught that or not. bugs all over here doing their work, pollinating. So anyway, you can see these things are just crazy, growing like mad. Oh, I picked out here already once, but now I can see there's some that I want now. I like this size right here. Two of those stacked up on one on top of the other is about a quart size height. So you can get 2 rows. So I'll be coming out to pick that up. That one there, and boy, there's one there too. And by the time I'm out here, this one over there will probably be ready too. Oh, there's going to be more. That one, that one. Later this afternoon. There's the jug that I use. There's 4 more of them lined up going up the hill there. And that's what I fill up with fertilizer water, and it's buried about 6 feet. 6 feet, yeah. Yeah, it's 6 feet down, all right. 6 inches down. And you can still see all the straws in place there too. Look at over on the tomato plants as well. All that straw. No weeds, no blight. Good moisture in there. It's working great. I had carrots planted right here. You can see that's just nothing but a graveyard. They didn't come up at all. Terrible. The kind that you buy that are on a strip, paper strip thing. It didn't work. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that that's going to be a volunteer pepper plant. I'm pretty sure. I did not plant any peppers, but I sure think that's, and I have had them in the past, a lot of them out here. None this year though, but pretty sure that's a pepper. Take a look for yourself. I'm pretty sure that's a pepper plant. There's some parsley, but whoever uses it, but it looks nice in the garden. Barbie knows I have it, but we don't ever. I guess you just garnish with that mostly. I don't know. We don't use it. So the onions were a bust also, basically. Well, we'll take a look here. I got some trees growing down here. I'm going to have to pull them out before they get too out of hand. Yeah, they kind of blend into the parsley a little bit, so you don't pay attention. Look at all those tomatoes hanging on that thing there. My goodness. Sheesh. That's just the frontier. Look inside, there's all kinds of them in there. Well, anyway, onions. I mean, there's going to be some here. So it won't be the end of the world, but let's see, what do I want? Probably that. And there we are. There's one there, and another one up there a ways. I better back up a little with this. So there's some in here. They just didn't get as big as I would think they were going. I think down there they're hardly going to be anything. So that's that. Back up a bit. Yeah, that'd be fine. So yeah, I've been blasting it with water, every day for quite a while. Well, we've had a little bit of rain. Some days a little bit more than others, so I've been able to kind of take a break on those days, but otherwise pretty much hitting it every day. And but they're doing really, really well. No complaints. Just huge plants this year. Never had them so big like that. That's that Miracle-Gro. But really nice. You can see why I had to cut down on the nitrogen. And they got all that they need. You know what? Let's walk up the side of the building here, and we're going to take a look at the plants up front. Well, here we are. The plants in the planter up here. I just laugh all the time because this is another one that really went nuts. All right, truth be told, I dumped some fertilizer in here too a couple of times, and then I've been putting a gallon of water in each of these big pots. We have 2 of them every day. Gallon of water a day. If I'm a little late getting it out there, they'll start to lay down. They don't like it. There's a lot of stuff going on. Now, you wouldn't know it, but each of those has a geranium in there. You can kind of see, I guess the one on the far side, you can see a little bit of it out there. Over on that far side over there. But anyway, they're kind of cool. The only problem is that they're all annuals. It's all done here in the fall. It sure is pretty. Probably the other thing, well, we've got a nice white corn plant over here too. That's been pretty nice. And that one there's been there for years. Keeps coming back. I bet if I dump some fertilizer on there it'd get taller, but oh, I have a bumblebee house right down here. I just saw him go in. Huh. Right there. I just saw a bumblebee crawl into that little spot. Right there. I bet anything we'll see somebody come in or out of there. Huh. I know we've had them over by the garage too. They were fixing our screens one day and they had to stop because of the bumblebee invasion. I let the guy, oh, here comes one, coming in for a landing. Big old bumblebee. Yeah, I let that guy pull his pickup into my garage when I closed the door, and then that took care of that problem. But they didn't like that guy around. They don't mind me. We kind of know each other. They see me in the garden all the time. They know I'm not a threat. But they don't know about strangers. I swear that's true. All right, come on. I thought we'd get some more action here. Seem kind of active. There they go. Whoop. I mean, one go out for sure, maybe two. I imagine they're going out getting food and bringing it back. Here comes one in. There. It'd be fun to know how many bumblebees there are in this hive. Coming in and out of here pretty good. See, we got an oak leaf right at their door. I wonder if they get mad if I pull that out of their way. Maybe they like it there. Did I ever think of that? Cool. Well, the coleus have completely gone to flower here. I'm kind of gone back on the water. I should be, well, they're still holding around, but they could probably tolerate a couple gallons up in there. I'll throw some in later. Well, there's still something pretty about them when they flower out too, but that really stops the growth of the leaves. But, I don't know, what are you going to do? So that's that. This is that little hen and chick thing. There's probably some name for it. That's what I call them. Well, look, they're all hens there with all these little chicks. Am I right or what? See them? I don't know, here just in the last couple of weeks, they really started putting out all the little ones. You know, all of these little guys that are in here. And by the way, they're connected like hard as a rock. Oh, they're in the rocks too, funny thing. Yeah, but I'll be the judge of that. But really, they're just all kinds of those little new ones coming out. They're just so cute. You might think they'd be little gentle, but no, they're, oh man, you wouldn't want to fall in that zone. It's got too many pricklies in there. No, there's an unauthorized weed in here. I'm sorry, but he's going to have to come out of there. No way. So, hang on here a second. There we go. Here's the flower, that the big main one. And I'm letting this dry up because there's pods here that must have seeds on them. I'm sure they do. So I'm just letting it dry. I hope I can get to it before the birds and animals eat them all up. But I think there'll be some seeds in there. It might be kind of fun to see if we can start them. I bet we can. So we'll be doing that here. Pretty bright out there right now. So this thing has really done well this year. I'm sure it's happy and I'm happy with it. It looks really, really nice. Lots of fun. Oh, look what's over there. There she sits. She served her, what do you want to say? She did well. But after 21 years, time to go. So that's it for that. Well, so there you have it. We took ourselves a look at the garden. Big win this year. Carrots. I'm done with carrots. I never have good luck. I either plant too many and they get too crowded, and I don't take the 5 weeks you need to thin them out. Working full time, 15 hours a day. Don't do that, so then that makes it so they don't grow very well. And so when they're on a tape, the paper tape thing, come from the reputable Burpee or whatever, you think, well, and they're spaced nice, They didn't even come up. I dig in there and I can't even find a tape. And not even any sign of it. I mean, I'm looking early enough and there's no sign of anything digging it up or anything. There's just nothing there. Nothing grew, nothing there. Gone. So the onions, they started out with a little bulb like that big, and there's some in there that are, and I swear, even though they don't have tops on them, I think they're still getting bigger. Maybe they still grow, even though they don't have a top. I think they might. But so they're getting, there's some in there that it won't be too bad. I've even told Barbie if she needs an onion, let me know, I got one for her. So that one, I give the onions, about a B+ maybe for effort, for what they have to deal with. I think they need more sun than I can give them back there. Tomatoes, they're going to get an A, and the cucumbers get an A. And potatoes are going to get an A. It's been really good, really, really good. No complaints. Great, great garden. The things that I employed this year were really good and helped a lot. Couldn't even imagine what a guy would need to do after that. Because that seemed to work out pretty good. Probably just do that. But anyway, so I'm happy you can come along this time and check it out with me, and keep in mind, that's the new Weed Whip, battery operated. I don't suppose it's going to take a lot to put that together. I don't know. But we can take a look at it and then we'll use it and see what we think of it. And it's different. It does 3 different things. And you can even chop down little trees with it, I guess. We'll see. I ain't got any little trees to chop down, but as a matter of fact, I do. Oh, I may have a test for that now that I think of it. I'd stay tuned for that. And that's going to come up here shortly. So, but thanks for staying tuned. But it's easy for me to say. Thanks for hanging around on this one. There's only one lasting question that always pops up when you're down at the garden and you're talking about pickles and looking at that. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? That's been an old question for a long time. And then I go kind of along too with the old, if a woodchuck, or how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? A woodchuck would chuck all the wood a woodchuck could chuck, if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Write those down. There's a couple things for you. We'll see you in the next one. Don't forget, you're special. Have a great day.